Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is level A2, Unit 20, Lesson 4. This is going to be a writing lesson where you learn to write about contrasting ideas, and we'll be practicing using the linking words and, but, so, however, after, while, when, and before. All right, so look at the following activities, and do you need to train to do them? Well, to run a marathon, yes, you'd probably need to train to do that. Climb a mountain, yes, you'd also probably need to train to do that. Walk the 500-mile Camino de Santiago, probably train at least a little bit. And do a 300-mile mountain bike race, yes, you would have to train, you would need to train for all of these. And which three activities do you have to do in a triathlon? Well, you have to run, swim, and ride a bike. There's no rock climbing in the triathlon. So how to train for a triathlon? A standard triathlon has a 1-mile swim, a 40-mile bike ride, and a 7-mile run. So what do you have to do, and how long do you have to train? All right, we're going to read this article about a triathlon. And first, we'll look at the vocabulary words. Participate means to do an activity with other people. Encourage is to make somebody feel good about doing something. And section is part of a whole. So Kyle decided to do a triathlon and read about how he did it. You can pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Last month, I participated in Try a Triathlon, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. The event encourages people to start doing more exercise. I decided to enter it to try and improve my level of fitness. You have to swim 700 feet, cycle 8 miles, and walk or run 1 mile. When I was at school, I was always into sports, but when I started university, I put on weight. I wasn't worried about the swimming section because I could still swim quite well. However, the cycling and running sections were a completely different subject. All right, here's another vocabulary word. Confident means to be sure of yourself. Exhausted is when you're really tired, and cycling is just riding a bicycle. Again, you can continue reading on your own or follow along as I read. About 1 month before the triathlon, I decided to go for a bike ride. 8 miles didn't sound very far, and I was confident that I could do it easily. I was in for a shock. After cycling for about 2 miles, I was exhausted. A few days later, I tried going for a run. I ran slowly. However, I could only run for a few minutes before I had to stop. I quickly realized that I was very unfit. I continued cycling and running, and I also started to eat healthy foods. With all the exercise and the healthy food, I found I was sleeping well, and I started to wake up early, full of energy. As time went on, I felt better and better. On the day of the triathlon, I was confident and ready to participate, and I had lots of fun. So complete the sentences without looking back at the text. So Kyle entered the Try a Triathlon because he wanted to. See if you can answer that without looking back. He could swim well, but let's see if you can finish that sentence. He tried to go for a run, but and he was unfit and never did any exercise, but he decided to. Right. Okay, we're going to look first at how we use the word however. You already saw that we can join two different ideas using the word but. I like apples, I don't like pears. So you could join those two and say, I like apples, but I don't like pears. We can also start a sentence with however when the sentence has a contrasting idea to the previous sentence. I was very tired and very hungry. However, it was 4 a.m. and no restaurant was open. She didn't go to college. However, she became a very successful businesswoman. If however is the first word in the sentence, use a comma afterward. I didn't like Katie when I met her. However, over time we became good friends. All right, so see if you can link these sentences with however. So go ahead and try that on your own, and then restart the video when you're ready to check the answers. All right, number one, he trained hard for 6 months. However, comma, he couldn't complete the marathon. She worked in Germany for 10 years. However, she didn't learn to speak German. 3, he had a great time. He didn't know anyone at the party. This one I would probably say start with he didn't know anyone at the party. However, he had a great time. Number 4, they were rich and famous. However, they were unhappy. I left my keys in the house. I couldn't find them anywhere. So I left my keys in the house. However, I couldn't find them anywhere. All right, so structure and scaffolding. So when you build a structure, you need scaffolding. And so when you write an article, you also need scaffolding. So stairs link the floors in a building, and in writing, we can join ideas with these linking words: and, but, so, however, after, while, when, and before. And so in an office building, you find different things on different floors. So the coffee shop is probably on the ground floor and the apartments are on the upper floor. And so in writing, we introduce ideas in the same way, and a paragraph expresses a theme or idea. All right, so we're going to look at the paragraphs and then decide what is the main idea of each paragraph, which paragraph tells us how he achieved his goal, which tells us how he improved, which paragraph tells us how he started training, which one tells us about when he was young, and which one introduces the idea of the whole article. All right, so you can either read these on your own or you can follow along as I read. Last month, I participated in Try a Triathlon, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. The, the event encourages people to start doing more exercise, and I decided to enter it to try and improve my level of fitness. You have to swim 700 feet, cycle 8 miles, or walk or run 1 mile. So, this one basically is introducing the idea of the article. So, this one is number 1. When I was at school, I was always into sports, but when I started university, I put on weight. I wasn't worried about the swimming section because I could still swim quite well. However, the cycling and running sections were a completely different subject. So number 2 would be He's telling us about how things were when he was young. About 1 month before the triathlon, I decided to go for a bike ride. 8 miles didn't sound very far, and I was confident that I could do it easily. I was in for a shock. After cycling for about 2 miles, I was exhausted. A few days later, I tried going for a run. I ran slowly. However, I could only run for a few minutes before I had to stop. I quickly realized that I was very unfit. So that would be number 3. He tells us how he started training. I continued running and cycling, and I also started to eat healthy food. With all the exercise and the healthy food, I found I was sleeping well and I started to wake up full of energy. So that would be number 4, how he improved. As time went on, I felt better and better. On the day of the triathlon, I was confident and ready to participate, and I had lots of fun. And that's how he achieved his goal. All right, now we're going to read about David, who also decided to try a triathlon. Here, the vocabulary is perfect timing, the correct time to start an activity, and this is a picture of a treadmill. Again, you can pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. I first got the idea of participating in Try a Triathlon when one of my colleagues at work started talking about it. My doctor had just told me that I needed to lose weight and start doing some exercise, and it seemed like perfect timing. I was overweight, very unfit, and I never did any exercise. However, I decided to join a gym. I booked classes with a personal trainer, and she designed a diet and exercise program for me. I started very slowly. I just walked on the treadmill every day, but I was still exhausted. However, I began to eat healthy foods, and I noticed that I started to sleep better and feel more energetic when I woke up. Excuse me. All right, so what can you remember about Kyle and David? And are the sentences true or false? So David and Kyle work together. That is true. David and Kyle wanted to lose weight. Though they didn't really say that. They both wanted to do the triathlon, and Kyle didn't really talk about losing weight. Kyle joined a gym. That's false. It was David. David exercised a lot when he was a child. That's false. It was actually Kyle who exercised a lot. And David and Kyle talk about their energy levels and their sleeping habits. That's true for both of them. All right, we're going to read the second part of David's story. Here's the vocabulary. Gradually is slowly and over a long time. Cycling to work just means that he rode his bike to work. And confident is when you feel good about yourself. Gradually, I introduced some cycling and swimming into my exercise routine. I discovered I was good at cycling, which helped my motivation. I borrowed a bike from a friend and I started cycling to work every day. It was quicker than taking the bus. Swimming was more difficult, but I didn't give up. I attended some swimming lessons and then began to swim regularly at my local swimming pool. As the day of the triathlon got closer, my fitness level was much better. I felt confident because I knew I would be able to complete it successfully, and I was so proud of myself when I did. So now think of a goal that you have achieved in your life, whether it's running a marathon or winning some sort of award at work. So just think about a goal that you've achieved. And then write down some ideas, take some notes. What was the achievement and why do you remember it? Maybe think about how this achievement relates to your past, the information about doing whatever the activity was, the changes that you made to reach your achievement, and how you felt when you reached your goal. All right, and then write a paragraph about it. Take your time, try to include at least two contrasting ideas using however, and then try to use some of these linking words and, so, but, while, when, before, or after. Make sure that you're writing in past simple when you need to. And finally, check your spelling and punctuation. That brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you have questions or you'd like me to take a look at your writing, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.